This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by TouringPlans.com. And hey, if you're looking for a great resource, in fact, the resource to help you plan that trip to Walt Disney World, the resource to make sure that you're not going to be waiting in lines at Walt Disney World, there is no better resource than TouringPlans.com. In fact, not only do they help you plan that perfect trip to Walt Disney World to avoid all those long lines, they can also help you plan that perfect trip with no lines to Disneyland. That's right. So both parks covered with great detail and lots of helpful tips. Go visit them right now at www.touringplans.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Monday, March 7th, 2011, and this is episode 847 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
So, guess what kind of bugs they have up there on the moon? Lunatics.
Waka waka.
Nope. This is a tricky one.
Tough to be a bug?
Nope.
If it's a tricky one, it's not an Animal Kingdom.
It sounds familiar.
Oh, I know. Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor.
No.
Yeah. I didn't think it was that either. Oh.
I give up.
Actually, it's Sunny Eclipse.
Oh.
Not
Darn
even close.
you intergalactic celebrity.
Wah, wah, wah.
Sad trombone here.
Wah, wah, wah.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse Roll Radio. Mike, I have no scientific data to back this up, but I'm pretty sure ever since Touring Plan started sponsoring the Monday shows, that I'm pretty sure Len's attendance has been like the lowest on Monday episodes.
Yeah, you think he'd be... The one show he would show up for would be that one.
Yeah, very odd. I'm not sure what the correlation is there, but, you know...
He's a busy man.
And who?
He's really busy.
Glenn
He may be the hardest working podcaster going.
On today's show, we are revisiting an old topic because after a couple of years, the statute of limitations run out, people get out of jail, and it's time to revisit a topic called Power Hour. And this is one we looked at in episode 204, so if you're interested in hearing that episode, feel free to. That was in January 2007. In this episode, we're going to talk about the Power Hour, which is the first hour the park is open in each of the 4 theme parks and Downtown Disney, what we're doing in that first hour. Because, you know, the one thing we really stress on this show, above all else, really in terms of helping you plan your day at any Disney park, is the importance of being at park opening for that first hour because of the low lines, and you can really accomplish nearly any attraction out there, regardless of how popular it may be. So we wanted to kind of share our opinions on what we would do if we're going for the first hour of the day in any park. And today, I guess let's start with the Magic Kingdom and first hour. So you have, figure out in your mind what you probably do in an hour, the first hour. So more than likely, I'm thinking, that's enough time for 2-3 attractions, to maybe 4 if you really get things going, or you're, whatever it may be. But let's start with Mr. Scopa. And Mike, what do you think you can, what would you, if you're in charge, just you, Mike Scopa, what would you do in the first hour of the Magic Kingdom?
Well, it's funny because Magic Kingdom, more than any other park, I kind of take my time. I don't rush around, but I think I would go. I would do opposite what Lynn would do. What?
I was going to say, we should probably preface this by saying the first hour being the first hour that, with the assumption that you want to do quote unquote everything in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Well, knowing which attractions get crowded real fast, I'd probably do this. I'd probably go over to Fantasyland. I'd probably do Peter Pan right away and get that out of the way, because I'd always want to do that, and I'd get that out of the way, and then I'd probably, I wouldn't worry about Space Mountain and Big Thunder and Splash, because I think that you can do those with a fast pass. I think I would probably go to Haunted Mansion, and I would go to Pirates, and then in between maybe hit one of the mountains if I can, but I wouldn't rush to the mountains, because I think everybody rushes to the mountains. I'd rush to those sort of that second tier of of attractions that tend to get busy, like Peter Pan, and maybe, well, Pirates hasn't been that busy lately, but Pirates and Haunted Mansion, and just get my fill of them, and then then maybe along the way get a fast pass to one of the others.
For me, I'm such a creature of habit, and I think I was thinking of what I would do in the first hour, and I'm pretty sure this is something out of an old Unofficial Guide touring plan. But for me, I'm the opposite of you, Mike. I would go to Space Mountain first, ride Space Mountain, and then go crisscross the park over to Frontierland and ride Splash Mountain and Big Thunder. I think in that order, unless there was I don't know. I guess I would ride in that order. I would say Space, Splash, Thunder, and that would probably encompass my first hour of the day. What about you, Newell?
Yeah, I'm kind of on your wavelength there. I would run over to Space first and then Splash, but I would do Pirates third. Okay. I can always hit Big Thunder later on in the afternoon without trouble.
I always figure that Pirates is that what you just said about with no trouble. Pirates has always been that ride for me that I always feel like it's always a ride that doesn't have that long. It can have long waits at times, but I always feel like if I was to walk by and be like, ooh, it's got a 40-minute wait, I'll come back later and it'll probably be close for 10 or 20.
But it's not always that case. If you're different because you get to go more often than us. For me, I love it so much that I want to get there early. I want to get there, as soon as I can. So
in the future, Mike, please refer to me as special, not different.
Special, like in special ed.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Nice. I wish Len was here because I'd like to see what he would think of something like this. So you get into the Magic Kingdom and you make your way over to Tomorrowland. First thing you do is you get a fast pass for Space Mountain, and then you do Buzz Lightyear. Okay. And then you go over to Fantasyland and you do Peter Pan, and maybe you do Haunted Mansion. And about the time that your fast pass runs out for Space Mountain, you get a fast pass for Big Thunder. And then you go over to the Pirates and maybe do a few other things. And then about the time that the Big Thunder one runs out, you get a fast pass for Splash. So now you have 3 fast passes that you can use at any time you want. Because what you've done is you've already gone past that time frame, and you know that you can always use it an hour or two after, anytime after the allotted time. You just can't use it before that. So now you have 3 fast passes. You can do any of those 3 mountains, any of the what does Len call those? The not showstoppers, but
Headliners.
Headliners, yeah. So you can do all those. You can do those 3 later in the afternoon when it's really crowded, and you can do the other ones that you could do at any time. So that's something that I thought about doing. I've had a theory about it, but I've never done it, and I wish Len was here to give feedback on that.
Absolutely. Let's go over to Animal Kingdom. And the first hour of Animal Kingdom, or as I call it, the only hour necessary to spend in Animal Kingdom, 1 hour, because there's nothing to do there. Newell, why don't you kick us off here with what you would do in the first hour at Animal Kingdom? I sense, though, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that we're all gonna be pretty close in the first hour of attractions of what to do. But go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, depending on where the crowd is headed, I'm either gonna go to Kilimanjaro Safari or over to Everest, depending on which way the flow is going. If I see more people going towards the west, I would go to Everest first, but that's where I would head first.
Okay. For me, I would do Everest first, book it over to Safaris, do that second, and then I have to consult my times guide, because if there was a show, I would love to be able to actually book it back at the opposite direction and go do Finding Nemo the musical.
Yes.
If that wasn't until later in the day, which I think it's more of a closer to lunchtime kind of first showing, then I would probably go to Primeval Whirl and make that my third attraction, which would probably round out my hour. If honestly, probably just the first 2 would probably make the hour, because the safaris, they are a 3-week journey. So
yeah, if I couldn't get into Nemo, I would probably do Flights of Wonder.
Okay. What about you, Scopa?
Keeping with my theme of using a fast pass later on, I would get a fast pass for Everest. Then I would shoot over to do Dinosaur. And then I would do the very first show available, either Nemo or Legend Festival of the Lion King. And then after that show, I would then do Everest, and then I'm out of there.
Exactly. After those 3, forget about it. We're done. It's interesting, Mike, you bring up the FastPass surge, and I was thinking to myself, like, do I use FastPass a lot in that first hour? I think the only park I really use the FastPass a lot in that first hour is the studios. The other parks I really feel like I've become very non-FastPass dependent, more so of a strict touring plan, but in the studios I feel like it's more necessary to use the FastPass than anything else. I mean, of course, when you're not using a FastPass, I guess you can see it both ways. In terms of, I was going to say that the non-FastPass thing requires you to do a lot more crossing the park back and forth to some extent. But then again, FastPasses, I guess, you could kind of time your FastPass return to when you're back in that area again. So it goes both ways, I guess. Speaking of the studios, let's kick over to Hollywood Studios and talk about what we do in the first hour at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And I mentioned before that I use FastPass here heavily because I think what I would do is I would go to, like everyone else in the park, go to Toy Story Midway Mania first, get a FastPass for that, and not ride. I know you can get like the two rides in a row, but my time is money, and maybe the park only open until 7 o'clock that day, so I got to make the best of my time. So I'm going to get a FastPass for Toy Story, then go back to Sunset Boulevard, ride Tower of Terror. But actually, you know what? Do Rock and Roller Coaster first, then Tower of Terror, because I think the line develops for Coaster quicker. And then at some point in the day, I'll return to go ride Toy Story when my time is up and, it works out to my advantage. What about you, Mike Scopa?
Pretty much going to do the same thing, Matt, but I think I would get a FastPass for Toy Story Mania and then do it, and then go over to Sunset and then go back to Toy Story. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Noel?
Yeah, I do exactly what Mike said. I would definitely take advantage. We're all in agreement
then, basically.
Yeah. Well, I'll take advantage of that second Toy Story ride right away.
Oh, you would?
Oh, yeah.
So you would get the FastPass and then hop on the standby line immediately after?
Absolutely.
Okay. I can't argue with that. I'm not going to, make sense. Let's go to Epcot and round things off there in that park. So Epcot, first hour. Now, Mike Newell, I got to say that looking back in the old show notes, this is the episode where you made famous the camera store. I'm interested because let me put it this way: Mike stood out for this quite a bit because his first hour consisted of him going to the camera store, which is the ride at Spaceship Earth, and then going to Mouse Gear. So, with that being said, that was in 2007. Mike Newell, how would you now spend in 2011 your first hour at Epcot?
Oh, it's either a choice between Test Track or Soarin', depending on.
No more camera store, no more Mouse Gear in the first hour. Huh?
You know what? The camera store is a non-issue anymore because it's become another generic store. They don't sell anything like they used to. There's no cool electronic gadgets in there for me anymore, unless I want an SD card. I really don't need that. And Mouse Gear, I can go any time of the day. That's also become sort of generic. It still has a little bit of cool stuff, but I can do that on my way out. It's not a
Mike, it's like I don't even know you anymore.
But I probably would have ran.
I totally get it though. But.
Yeah, I probably would have ran over to Soarin' first to grab a FastPass, and then ran over to the other side of the park over to Test Track, and then back over to Soarin' later in the later morning, around lunchtime, so I could do Sunshine Seasons for lunch, since I'm there anyway.
Right.
That's probably how I would go.
Okay. For me, I think I'm going to Soarin' first. I'm debating whether I would get FastPass or not. I guess I would actually stay in the standby line as opposed to getting a FastPass, and the reason for it is because it's such a haul. You have to go up that hill, down the escalator, get the FastPass, then go back up the escalator, walk around the circle, go back down the hill. It's like you spent like half an hour. All you have to show for it is a ticket.
You bring up a really good point because it's so deep down inside of the land. It does take some getting to. You're right.
I might be jaded and just lazy at this point, but I don't know. I would just go for the standby line, then get out. And again, this will take a half an hour, so it's kind of like a same difference. But go out there, and then I would have to go over to Test Track, and I would have to call an audible at this point.
Right.
The line isn't bad. If it's under 30 minutes, I'll stand on Test Track line. If it's over 30 minutes, I'm going to grab a FastPass, and then I would probably head over to... Mission Space doesn't really command the lines anymore like it once did, which isn't saying much anyway because it didn't really command those big of a line. So I would probably then go over to Finding Nemo and save something like Mission Space for later in the day when I think I could, or worst case a FastPass. But I think the whole Seas with Nemo and Friends Pavilion is what I would do third, one way or the other. What about you, Scopa?
One of the problems with the Soarin' Fast Pass is that, when they say, okay, go to this side, go to that side, you turn the corner, and next thing you know, there's a long line. So I'm not sure you really gain much with the Soarin' Fast Pass. But having said that, what I would do is I would go over to Soarin', get a Fast Pass, then go in the standby line, do Soarin', then go over to Test Track. And I would say sometime during the day, I would go back to the land, have go on to Soarin', and then have lunch at Sunshine Seasons. I don't know what else I would do that first hour. I'm not really into Mission Space. I guess I could do Ellen's Energy, but maybe what I would do is after going to Test Track, go back, maybe do Spaceship Earth, and then go back to Soarin'. And the reason why I say that is that I believe after the first hour of the park when it's open, I think the waiting line for Spaceship Earth goes down quite a bit, because I think everybody in the first hour is either doing. I think people who haven't been to Epcot in a while will do Spaceship Earth, but most of the veterans will go immediately to either Test Track or Soarin'.
Yep.
So I think that first hour. It's kind of like on the fence as to whether or not you should do Spaceship Earth. But I think that after the first 60 minutes, maybe at the 75 or 90-minute mark, then I think it's worthwhile going to Spaceship Earth.
Yeah, for me, though, I'm going to go even further with that, Mike. I really think Spaceship Earth is not a ride that you should do before noontime. It seems like the lines are always long in the morning. And then once you get past lunchtime, it's just, not, I want to say necessarily walk on, but the lines substantially decrease in the afternoon. And the people that go, when the park first opens, people would go straight to Spaceship Earth. That would drive me crazy. I want to be like, no, you fools, you're going the wrong way. In the words of Adam Akbar, it's a trap.
You want them to go there
it's
first.
Just not the way,
But a lot of them do. A lot of them go on Spaceship Earth on the way out, too.
That's true.
But
I mean, the line then, I don't think it's that bad. It was funny. Epcot was the first park that we had any kind of a plan for. I remember, when I came with my family when I was a kid, and we would go to these parks, and we'd always, we'd be like that family going to Spaceship Earth. And I remember someone telling us, when you go to Epcot, you should go to the back of the park first. And we went to I think we went to Horizons first at that point. And we went to it pained us to go past Spaceship Earth. We're like, no, someone told us we should go to the back. And we went to Horizons, and it was a ghost town over there. So it was kind of interesting how that still kind of holds up in some regard, that you should avoid the front attractions and kind of work your way towards the back a little bit. So that leaves, so Downtown Disney, the way we did it was we figured out, I don't think this is necessarily the first hour, but we decided, do we do Marketplace first or West Side first? And I guess in 2007, the West Side had a lot more to offer than it currently does.
Yeah.
So I'll pose the question this way. Does anyone say that they would, when you're in Downtown Disney with the intention of seeing everything in Downtown Disney, would you do West Side first? Does anyone get it, or is everyone starting in Marketplace first?
Marketplace.
Yeah, Marketplace.
Yeah. The only reason I guess I would say West Side first is if there's no parking in Marketplace. I would have to park in West Side and be like, well, I guess we're here. We might as well start here.
And that'll change, when they finish Hyperion Wharf. That'll change.
Yeah. It's desperately needed, because really the West Side and Pleasure Island have been so uninspiring lately. They just had nothing. They keep taking stuff away from it, keep taking things away from it, and there's been less and less reason to spend any time over there, let alone start your touring plan in that part of Downtown Disney.
Although I am interested to try out the new AMC dining theater thing that they're putting in.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Do you have a quick synopsis of what that is, Mike, for some of our listeners who have no clue what that is?
Just from the photo I saw while they were doing construction, it looks like they're going to be offering seating that's like, you sit at a movie theater, but there's table service. So there'll be servers, and you can get full dinner or full meals there. I guess before the film. I'm not sure if they're going to offer it before or during the film, but it looks like you're going to be able to go there for dinner and a movie without leaving your seat, which is kind of neat.
That is interesting. Cool. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of WDW Today. Don't forget that this episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by our friends at touringplans.com. And hey, we were talking about what to do in the first hour, but if you want definitive research touring plans to help you figure out what to do that first hour, or any hour of the day for that matter. Touringplans.com is that resource for you. They've got their touring plans, and there's a wide assortment of them, are based on scientific research. This isn't just some guy spinning around in a chair being like, I think we should do pirates first. This is actually based on research. They've done numbers. They've had people sit outside these attractions and count people throughout the day to see where the lines are, where the crowds go, and then they figure out, okay, based on this data, what's the best plan to take? So if you're looking to do it all, see everything in Walt Disney World, this is the resource for you. Touringplans.com. Check them out right now. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.